What's going on, my beautiful people? How we doing? So while we continue to break apart body image and body positivity and start to really think about our avatars, the skin that we live in this amazing, amazing way, because that's the only way we should think about our bodies, I felt like it was necessary to share my own struggles and journey with body image. As a kid, I was ridiculed and picked on for just about everything from what I looked like to my sexuality and everything and anything in between. It wasn't a good feeling, and it gave me a lot of complexes. Fast forward to the beginning of my career as a model, and I was picked apart even more so than before. I mean, my job, after all, was to basically just be a mannequin, a piece of meat, and objectified for work. It really did a damage on my self-esteem, on the way that I thought about my body, and the way that I looked. I have been exercising at a really high level of intensity since I was 9 and a competitive swimmer. So for me, I was always in shape. But with that came a lot of things that I was hyper aware of. I always felt too thin, not muscular enough. It's still something that my brain goes back to every now and then. I have to tell it to shut up. I never felt tall enough, and that's something else I constantly struggle with. My nose being too big, my teeth not being straight enough or white enough, my skin being freckly, or then not freckly enough, not being tan enough, my hair being too long, too short, too curly, not curly enough. And while you're, 19 and trying to figure out yourself, to have someone look at you to your face and basically just objectify you and tell you that this is wrong with you, that is wrong with you, it does a lot of damage. And I share this because I think a lot of people just assume that I've had it easy when it comes to body image and thinking about the way that my skin is. And because of that, I really want to break down any of those myths, because anyone who you are looking up to in any way, and I'm not saying it's me, but maybe someone else, is dealing with their own body hangups. And the more that we address this and realize that this is something that is universal and we're all struggling with, the more that we're going to start to be kinder to our bodies. And more than anything, right now, as we go through this body positivity, understanding, workshop, whatever you want to call this moment, this task, this journey, this exploration into ourselves, the more I want to ask you why it is that you want the body you have, and why is it that you want a body you don't have, maybe. And I think it's important to answer both of those questions as kindly and honestly as possible. I want the body I have now because it's my body, and I've done a lot of deprogramming and unlearning to appreciate every part of me, from the moles that I wanted removed, to the chips in my teeth, to not being 6'2". And what that has allowed me to do is be kinder to my body and be more grateful for the things that it does, rather than be angry for the things it doesn't do or doesn't have. And while we go through this understanding, it's important to look at wanting that other body, that one that we idealize or idolize. And for me, it was always something that was more muscular, taller, this like giant, hunky man, which is not how I've ever felt. It's maybe how I've been perceived in some capacities, but it's not ever been the way I actually feel inside. I've always kind of just felt like a scrawny 12-year-old with braces and glasses and awkward. And I understand that's not what I look like anymore, but that is who I feel like inside in so many situations. I constantly laugh at, comments that come in on social media about, my imagery, because it's just not something I've ever identified with. But the more that I give into it, and the more that I understand that this is this really amazing thing I get to have, the more that I'm going to accept it for the wonderful, beautiful thing that it is, and have fun with it, and be grateful for it, and use it for all that it can give me right now. So going for runs and exercising isn't about losing weight or being toned. It's about honoring the needs of my body and creating endorphins and giving into the energy, and really just giving our bodies back the things that it's asking for. We are meant to be mobile creatures. We are meant to move and exercise. But we also need to ask, why do we want the bodies that we want? And I found that for myself, a lot of it went back to porn and porn culture and sex and what we've all been fed in the media. And again, I know that I've been a part of that for many people. And I'm not going to just change the way that I look and become a less healthy version of myself, but I think it's important to recognize the way in which we all facilitate and play into something, whether we are a part of it or we keep desiring and lusting after it. And I think the more that we break down the want, that other version of a body that we think we maybe should have or could have or want, right? That want. Why is it that we want that body? And often I think it links back to ideas of feeling worthy from other people rather than from ourselves. And the more that we start to just say, I'm grateful for my body's ability to do the things that it can do and the things that it can't do, because that's a lesson in itself, the more we're going to be kind to this specific body right now. And that is of the chief importance as we learn to fully accept ourselves, mind, body, and soul. You know, last year I tried Botox for the first time, and it was something that I had heard from ex-boyfriends and friends, and everyone I knew was doing it because it was normalized to me. I thought it was time for me to do it. And so I tried it, and it wasn't a painful process. I instantly felt like I had been refreshed. But the more that I sat with it and the more that it settled, the more that I saw myself starting to nitpick other lines in my face, other wrinkles and other spots, bags under my eyes, and I just realized this was a never-ending process that was never going to lead me to being fully satisfied with how I looked, but rather wanting to change more and more and more of my exterior, which, as we find and do the work, actually never gives us the satisfaction that we're looking for and the peace of mind that we should be striving for more than anything. I share all of this as a way to encourage you to be honest about the hangups that you have, but to remember that no body is perfect and every body is beautiful. I hope that this video did that for you in some way and acted as a little bit of a reminder to be kind to yourself, be kind to your body, and give it gratitude and thanks every day. Much love, you guys. Over and out.